Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. It is review time for the Fender Mustang 1 V2 amplifier. This one's got some upgrades to it from the old Mustang ones. Anyway, so, give you through the basics of this little puppy. You've got an input jack, foot switch, which is optional to buy, 40 bucks Canadian. Gain, volume, treble, bass, master volume. 24 different presets, color-coded by amber, green, and red. And I believe, if I remember right, 16 of them you can manipulate all you want. Of course, you got save and exit buttons. You can manually do stuff if you find a tone that you like. So pick one. For an example, we're on Metal 2000 in the amber. And you like that tone. Well, you don't have to save that, right? But oh, I want to crank the treble up more. What can I do with the bass? Let me think. Let's kill the bass. A little bit of bass would help. Okay, I like that. And then you can save it right in, and it alters that particular preset that you saved. Okay? And so then you just write down, you know, was it on amber or yellow or green, whatever ones I get to pick from, and, you know, what amp did I choose for that? Boom. Oh, wait, mod effect. I want some more effect to that. Ooh, a heavy chorus. That's cool. I need reverb or delay. Let's see what we got. That sounds cool. That. Let's save that. Boom. You can do that. Okay? Now, you also have a headphone output jack for private listening, so you don't drive your landlords if they happen to live beside you or above you. And you also have a line input source or auxiliary input where you can hook in an MP3 player of some form, even if it's from your phone, your iPad, your Android tablet, whatever. You just need a double-ended stereo headphone cable. Boom, boom, away you go. All right, and then you can play it through the amp and play along with your favorite song, you know, and away you go. And you can rock out and learn those tunes by just having everything go through here, right? So that's kind of nice. The USB port on this thing is a two-way communicational port, and what that allows you to do is there's a program called Fuse, which you need in order to further manipulate stuff and customize. Also allows you to download and install other presets that they give you for free that you have to download from the internet. Also for any firmware updates, which there is one. I have it on my computer right now, but I haven't installed it because I am not screwing with this thing yet, okay? There is a bit of a learning curve to this amplifier, so before you mess with the firmware update, which you don't need right away, do not install it or attempt to do so till you have thoroughly read and understand it, even how to do it, okay? Now, another thing about the Fuse program, too, before I get into the rest of the features of the USB, Fuse, for me, did not boot up right away for the amp. I had the amp connected, amp must be turned on, which is fine, and it's hanging forever, so I had to do a Google search about this, and because they didn't cover that in the manual. Anyway, I found out it's because of a program called Silverlight or Silverlit, depends on how you want to pronounce it. Anyways, you have to rip it out and download the most current version from Microsoft and reinstall that, and voila, you're up to the races. Now, I'm running iMac OS Sierra, okay, and I also run Windows 10 on my iMac as well, so I get to choose what OS my computer boots to, which is nice, because I use Windows for other purposes, including video games, that I do not have access to on the Mac, mainly because they are older games. But anyway, I primarily use the Mac side for all my audio stuff, video stuff, and so on. And so I had to, rip it out, install the new one. Everything was fine after that. Found it, booted up, found the amp, and then I'm like, okay, now what? Oh, wait, we got to read the user's manual because it's not that simple. There's a learning curve to this program. But do you need Fuse right away? No, you do not. Okay? So if you're also not a technological person where you can really get into it really quick, then hold off on doing that. Read the manuals that come with the program. So install the program. Just don't screw with any of your settings, okay? Because you cannot unscrew them up until you've learned how to unscrew them up, okay? There is a process on how to use things to put the amp even back to full factory default as well. You have to understand that program, and right now even I don't. So it's a new learning curve, which is what I was warned about when I bought the amp. So I'm not messing with stuff until I need to. But anyways, right now I'm quite actually happy with everything that the amp is right out of the box, even without hooking to the computer. Now, further on the USB port, it's a two-way port, okay? So I run GarageBand, so I can confirm this works. I haven't tried it through Amplitude, but I'm sure it will. But I'm going to actually try it, and then I'll do a video for you guys on that. For how to run the amp into your computer and manipulate through the different programs. But I know for a fact it does work on GarageBand. So I have an iRig device on my computer, so I just normally have been jacking my guitar right into my computer, play it through, away I go, do my recording, whatever, right? And that's fine, and it's awesome, and it's also 24-bit HD quality. So with this, I can also, because I have to be plugged into a USB port, GarageBand found my Mustang amp as an input device. I'm like, that's sick. So let's switch that over, see what happens. And I just hit a chord and it's like, awesome. Okay, even Marshall couldn't do that for under $200. I don't even know if they can do it for more money. I didn't pay attention to the Marshall amps that much. Anyways, so the USB is a huge, huge bonus that way, right? So now you thought you had fun with GarageBand or Amplitude, just, even the Amplitude basic programs, right, without purchasing more stuff to get extra goodies. Well, now you've got everything in this amp is accessible and movable into your program, like especially GarageBand. Like I said, I've not confirmed Amplitude yet, but for sure GarageBand. And of course, GarageBand and all its pedals and all of its features and all of its amp cabinets and so on, you also have that access as well on top, okay? Because the signal out of here, what you want, especially if you want to manipulate through GarageBand on top of with different cabinets and stuff, I would find out, which I think it's the 65 Twin Reverb is one of the cleanest ones. I have to go through them all still myself. Okay, so that's a really clean one. Let's check out the Bassman. Not so clean. No. And let's go green. Pretty clean for the green Bassman. Oh, and red. Looks like amber with a 57 right now is my main winner. There's probably another amp model in there too among the selections. It's also clean. But the Twin Reverb works really nice. So you can input your signal clean to start with, right? Now, you go into your GarageBand program, whatever. Like I said, we'll confirm the others at a later date. But you got the clean sound. Now, you can hear it through your computer speakers, but you're still going to hear it through your amp too, right? So you get like a stereo effect, right? But you can turn the master volume off and still play because it's a fixed audio output through the USB. Okay, it's fixed, so no matter how loud you crank your master up here, it has no effect on the input signal into your computer and in through your program. So you're going to get the cleanest possible sound. Okay, and then you start, if you want to run different effects, you know, you can do that. Or if you just want to run, you know, let's say we want to run the Sonic here, Supersonic. Turn the volume down a little bit. Okay, so you want to run Supersonic. That sounds awesome. Okay, and you don't want to screw around with dials, but you want to add in a phaser, and there's a fixed phaser in here, right? You can add in that. But then, oh wait, there's a pedal called Funk, right? I want to add that in. Well, I don't have Funk on the amp, but I got Funk on GarageBand, right? It's a Funk pedal. You can add that in. So you have a lot of capabilities you never had before for under $200. I don't care what, you know, if you live in the US or Canada, for sure, you're under $200 in either country, right? So that's a lot of performance and a lot of package deal for a very small amount of money. Because, you know, $190 tax out the door, tax in out the door in Canada, okay? That's a really good deal for a brand new amp, 20 watts of power, 8-inch speaker, really good sound response, really super clean amp too on top of that, and power packed with all these features. That is actually really, really good deal, you know? So it's like, and you don't have to even buy pedals for probably a long time, you know, and if you already own pedals but you just want a practice amp to give you a lot of stuff and maybe even some freedom from some of your pedals, it's a good amp to have that way, and you get to hook it through the computer on top of that, right? So this thing is definitely a winner in my books. The other bonus too is Fender offers a 5-year warranty with this amplifier. Now, not everything is covered for 5 years, but the majority of it, you've got 5 years, okay? And that's really good for under $200. I thought I'd only get like a 1-year warranty, you know, but no, 5 years, and it's like, that's pretty cool, you know? And if I want to change the speaker out at some point, maybe I want a higher quality, higher end speaker, although this one does quite the kick job as it is. But if I wanted it, I could swap it out later. You know, you just got to make sure you keep the same ohmage rates, and you'll be okay. And you got to watch the wattage of the speaker too for fire up power. So you got to kind of stay within some principles to a certain point anyway. But and the closed back design I really like too, because it's going to give me some really good bass response, you know. But it's not killing the treble too hard, you know. Whereas an open back, I find they have a lot better bass up against the wall, but the treble is really high squealy and harder to control. So I kind of like a closed back amp myself a little bit better. But yeah, overall, it is definitely a winner in my books. As far as the star rating goes, guys, I'm kicking this thing at 4.5 out of 5 is where I'm going to put it. Okay? But I do seriously recommend, when you're looking for any brand new amp, even if it's this one, bring your guitar with you so that you know what you can expect out of this amp with your guitar. Because not all guitars are equal, not all pickups are equal, and even two guitars exactly the same as far as, you know, installed stock equipment, because this thing's all stock, they're not even going to sound the same, okay? They don't even play the same, because people have different setups too, right? So bring your axe with you, bottom line. Now, can you plug an acoustic guitar into this amp? Someone's going to ask me that, I know it. So I'm going to settle that right away. Yes, you can, but there's a but here. Most guitars that already have inborn electronics from the factories will feedback a lot through a normal electric guitar amp, and in fact even through some acoustic amps. I had my experience with a Taylor at the music store, and the electronics in it were total crap. I mean, we couldn't even find one amp, including the acoustic amps, that it didn't feedback on. You know, it was like we couldn't really even turn it up, you know, and so the stock electronics actually sucked in that particular Taylor, and that's like over $2,500. So, yeah, the electronics did suck. And I was told that they do anyways by the guy. He says, you know, most of the Taylors, the electronics, people rip them out and replace them with good stuff. Now, I run a Fishman neodymium magnet pickup in my acoustic, and it's a sound hole pickup. And I have no problem with 10 watts of power, full blast, 4 feet away from the amp, no feedback. Generally, you never ever plug an acoustic into any amp, period, especially if you're gigging in a big area, because you can blow the sound equipment, well, your amp anyway. So you're always plugged into like a soundboard that can control your guitar, especially an acoustic. It's just the nature of the beast. But I've been able to get away with 10 watts at full blast, no feedback. I have not tested yet on this amp where the feedback starts. Another day I will, I'll let you know. This is 20 watts of power, okay? But at the levels that I need it at, it's perfect. It is absolutely perfect. I can hear the amp. I can hear my own guitar, but I can hear my amp more because that's what I wanted. And I wanted that chorus effect too because I love chorus. Okay, so that's where I'm at on that one. But generally otherwise, electric guitar, crank it up, let her rip, okay, and have some fun with her. You can get over top of drums really easily with this amp. We did it back in the 80s with the PV Edition 20, which was like, what, 11 watts or something. And so it wasn't a very powerful amp in that sense compared to today's brain thinking on wattage. But that thing had no problem, you know, cooking over top of the drummer with an acoustic set. And he was beating the hell out of those drums. And the R2 Edition 20s had no problems. So this thing would be fine for gigging, setting up in your garage, in your basement house, whatever. It's going to be an awesome amp. I would probably consider it, in my case, maybe bringing this along with me to church when I'm playing, and just to get that chorus effect going, you know, in the music, because I really love how it sounds. And, you know, and even though churches are a large area, when you're mic'd up in through the sound equipment, you don't even have to turn this up that high, which is bonus, okay? So, anyways, enough of that. Great amp, well worth every penny, okay? Definitely awesome deal. Tons and tons of stuff in there to learn, manipulate, have fun with. You know, and you can have even more fun with the downloadable software and install new stuff too. I'm very happy with this amp, and I definitely would recommend it. Even if you're a beginner guy, I definitely recommend this amp as even your first amp. Forget the cheaper amps for, you know, $100. Who cares? Marshall. Ooh, Marshall. Okay, Marshall's got some really good stuff if you got thousands of dollars, but if you only got a couple $100 for a budget, forget the Marshall amps with the clean and distortion. You want to have some cookie fun and have this amp for a lot of years and have capabilities that the Marshall is not going to offer you. Take a look at the Fender Mustang 1 V2. It is a screamer, and it is well worth every single penny, and you will be happier because you're also not going to be buying pedals right away, especially if you're a beginner, so you don't have extra to invest, you know, to get cool tones and stuff. Okay, and you can hook it into your computer and have even more fun. Anyways, that's it for the review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry for the length, but you know, I'm trying to cover stuff, and not all of it either in a review. So future videos will be coming with more goodies for you on this thing. Thanks again. Have a good one.